Okay, we called you on the wrong number. Okay, so what we'd like to do right now is apologize to our viewers. This is D-ish time in Zinga today, and we had some technical difficulties with Blog Talk Radio, but we are back with our guest, Shala Harris. We have a recorded interview that we are going to place on YouTube today, and our topic is genocide. And today is the name of our show, and our topic is dealing with the death of our loved ones during a special season of celebration of families and mothers during the season of Mother's Day. And we have Shala Harris. Hi, Shala, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. We've been going through today with this whole technical difficulty thing, but at any rate, we're here. So we just want to welcome you to the show, Genocide Ends Today. We're going to approach this a little differently. I'd like to just open up to our viewers a little bit about who you are and how we came to know one another. So could you just share with the viewers and the listeners who you are, a little background information, a little description of your story, and why we're even talking today. Welcome to the show.
Okay, my name is Shala Harris. I live in Henderson, North Carolina. The reason how I came to meet Ish Time, actually I was speaking with another lady. Her name is Justice, and she connects me and Ish Time together because my son was murdered, shot in the chest 3 times by his mother, the baby's mom, father. And I'm trying to get things taken care of with my son's case as far as the father shooting my son and getting away with that.
Okay, can you tell us your son's name and when this event occurred?
My son's name is David Lawrence Harris, and the incident happened January the 13th, 2014.
Can you tell us what happened on January the 13th, 2014 in the city and the state that this event occurred?
From what I was told, 4 detectives come knocking at my door, and they asked me, do I have a son by the name of David Lawrence Harris? And I said yes, and my response was, what happened? They said, well, we're here to inform you that your son was murdered in a domestic dispute. And I just paused. I really couldn't talk after that. And the next day, I tried to get myself together, and I went to go to the police station, and I asked them what actually happened. They explained to me, they said that my son had been arguing all day with his baby's mother, which is, her name is Tabitha Prophet. They had been arguing back and forth because my son wanted to leave with his son. The detective also said that the father of Tabitha Prophet, which is Edward Prophet, calmed my son down, said that there was no problems, but all of a sudden, his wife went and took a gun out, which was a .45 caliber, and laid it on the counter and said that in case they needed it for protection, they would lay it out in case my son, I guess, got upset again or whatever. I really don't, know what actually happened because I wasn't there. But from what they're telling me, that my son got upset again and grabbed Tabitha Prophet, slammed her against the wall, grabbing her hair, and my son charged at his wife. This is why he had to shoot my son in the chest 3 times. But I also asked the detective why, before any of it got to that point, why anyone in the household didn't call the police if my son was doing all of the different things that they said he was doing in the home. Why no one called me or his grandparents. I feel like the Prophet family took matters in their own hands and they murdered my son. And no one went to jail behind it. They were all, Edward Prophet was found not guilty. He was charged with manslaughter only, and also he's a convicted felon. He wasn't supposed to be around a gun at all.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, he wasn't supposed to be around a gun. But after, I started questioning certain things pertaining to him being a felon. Well, he can be in the house with a gun as long as it's locked up. They were giving me different reasons why this man, that it was, to me, I took it as it was okay for him to shoot my son. I don't really understand because they try to make it seem like my son was taking over the household, but my son lived there for over a year. And I feel like if he was a problem, why didn't they ask him to leave the home before then? Why did they have to shoot my son 3 times? I mean, from my point of view, I'm saying if you felt like you had to shoot my son, why wasn't he shot in the leg or something? Why the chest? You knew that would murder my son. I'm still, trying to, find out what actually happened. Every time I try to get, any type of evidence, anything, pertaining to my son's case, I've always gotten to run around. Anytime I tried to get any help in the town where I lived in, people would start helping, but then when things get rough, they back off. They wrote a long article about my son. A lot of stuff that really didn't even matter. It didn't even needed to be said, pertaining to the case of my son being killed. I felt like they wanted to just incriminate my son, make him look like this animal to justify why this white man, shot my son in the chest and got away with it.
So far today, what I'd like to say first and foremost, before I even parlay into this statement, is I'm so sorry for your loss, and I want to thank you for sharing with us today and for being so candid about your story and your views and your perspective on what happened for our listeners, so that we can get a better idea of what happened to David, so that we can prevent this from happening again. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I'd like to say is I've known you for a little while, and I truly admire your strength, and I admire your conviction to get justice for David, and I admire your tenacity and your commitment in the midst of such a struggle to just get the facts straight from law enforcement and from the family that was a part of this tragedy. That's the second thing I'd like to say.
Yeah.
As you stand now, where does this case stand now? What is happening now? Tell us what's happening right now with this case. Have you gotten any justice? I know that you are still within the statute of limitation, but what is happening so far? Have you got an attorney? Can you apprise us of some of the facts of the case today?
Right now, the case is nothing. He's a free man. I was not able to afford a lawyer, and they knew that. So they gave him one of the top lawyers of Henderson, David Waters, And I think it was a whole lot of everybody knowing everyone, and I believe that's why, he got away with, killing my son.
When you say he got away with killing your son, what do you mean by that? Describe the details of that statement for us so that we can better understand.
He was charged with manslaughter, which I felt that, when you shoot a person 3 times, to me, that's murder. He was only charged with manslaughter, and then they didn't even charge him. They took their time about charging him because they felt they had to figure out what angle to charge him with, what type of, conviction, what type of charge he should receive for shooting David in the chest 3 times. Once he was charged, they charged him on only a $50,000 unsecured bond. He never was locked up. He went in and signed himself, and came out the same day they arrested him. He was done in 30 minutes. He was back home.
Okay.
And also, he was not even charged for the firearm by felon until maybe a couple of weeks later, because I had to push the issue about that. I found out by looking his name up on the computer that he was a felon.
Okay.
And I went and asked him why wasn't he charged with that as well, and that's when maybe a week later he was charged with that as well. They re-arrested him for that charge, and I think that bond was only $10,000 or $20,000 for that, and he was on an unsecured bond again and right back out again.
Okay. So basically what you're sharing with us is nothing happened to this man. He was a convicted felon who was not even supposed to have any type of weapon in his possession. All of those details regarding this person and the incident were totally just swept under the rug, not addressed, and he was basically released on his own recognizance, and he's still out there. Is that what you're telling us today?
Yes, that is what I'm telling you today.
Okay, and so in terms of your attempts at this point, May the 9th, to get justice for David, what is happening right now?
I'm trying to find a lawyer that will help me civil suit this family and try to figure out what happened actually with my son's case, because it was so hush-hush. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know actually what happened, but only what they have on the incident paper that they have. And some of the paperwork, 3 different papers that I received from them, the stories kind of changed each time you read different, papers, like the autopsy, it said one thing, the incident report that they take from the family in the beginning when it first happened, it said one thing. Another paper that I had from them said something else. It was never the same story. It was always something added or something, dropped from, them telling me what actually happened to my son. So I would like to, get justice for my son and try to, hopefully someone, would try to help me, because financially I know that I couldn't afford a lawyer to fight this battle with this family for killing my son.
Can you give our viewers contact information for yourself and information where they can go? I know that David has a website where they can go online or Facebook page and find out more about David's story and assist wherever they feel led to do so at this time. could you give us that information so that we can share with our listeners? Okay, we're ready.
Okay. David's Facebook page is David Lawrence Harris, and my Facebook is Shala Harris. So that's we both have Facebook. His is the community, mine is it's the same thing. And I don't believe a number, would that be good? Or
that's good. Facebook? Yeah, whichever, everything that will give them access to you in terms of helping you.
Okay. My telephone number is 252-572-3535. That's my cell number. That's another way that I can be reached if, anyone, needed to reach me, to talk to me about my son's case.
Okay. And what is the best way to reach you? Is it via email, on Facebook, or by cell?
Facebook, they can probably inbox me or message me, or the telephone number.
Okay, very good. All right, Shala, we extend our condolences to you, and I'd like to just ask, as we close this out today, if you wanted to share one thing about where you are right now as we approach Mother's Day on tomorrow with our listeners in terms of your journey and your reality right now, that you would like to leave with them. What would that be, and what would you recommend for families who have gone through something like this, as a suggestion for getting justice or for just dealing with the pain and the loss of a loved one, especially around the holidays?
How I'm dealing with it, I do a lot of prayer. A lot of talk to God when I wake up, when I go to bed, and I ask Him to give me strength to keep going day to day. This is my first Mother's Day without my son, and it's really hard for me because I'm used to my son coming. We're together. We have our morning breakfast. He always buys me jewelry, and after breakfast he gives me a big hug because my son was a very sweet, big, I called him my big teddy bear, and I have to close my eyes and just imagine him doing all of that, and that's what gives me comfort. That family took all of that away from me, and they all have each other, and the only thing that I have left here is God, myself, and my grandson. That's in my family that's pertaining to my son. The thing that I would recommend for other mothers is to get with a social group like I am. I have good support people that I talk to, and you're one of them, Ishan, and I thank you very much. And just do a lot of praying, and just try to, keep your head lifted and try to find good, positive people to stay around. And sometimes it's good to talk, and sometimes it's just good just to pray and just talk to yourself, and you'll find that each day you will get that relief and just, get comfortable. You won't forget, and the pain won't go away, but it will ease up a little bit where you can live and go on day-to-day life every day.
All right. We want to just thank you so much from Mothers Against Youth Genocide. Shala, we want to honor you today along with all the other mothers who are now facing tomorrow without their children. And we just want to let you know that we're thinking about you and we love you, and you do matter, and your children do matter. We talk about Black Lives Matter, and one of the things that I like to say is our children matter also. All of our children matter. Whether we received, I know that in your case, Shala, you didn't get a lot of publicity, and the case didn't go viral in terms of David's story getting out there. So this is what I want to say to mothers: whether you've gotten publicity or you didn't get publicity, or your story was picked up or wasn't picked up, your child matters, and you matter. And Shalay, I just want to tell you that we celebrate you, and we're here for you and all the other mothers that are out there. Please give us a shout out tomorrow. Even though your child may not be with you, they're with you in spirit. They may not be with us tomorrow physically, but they are with us spiritually, which is why we're even having this conversation. I know, Shalay, you said that you had asked David to give you a sign, and then we spoke.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, I always do. Yep.
Yeah. And
always ask my son if he wants me to stop working on his case, or do he want me to keep moving forward? I always ask him to give me a sign, and every time I'll get a phone call either from you or from someone to keep me going. So I ask for that all the time, and that's what keeps me going. And when I'm down, I go talk to him, and I ask him, David, do you want your mom to stop, or do you want me to keep moving forward? And I get my sign every day to keep moving forward, and that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we thank you so much, and tomorrow, just know that David is with you in spirit, and he's with all of us, and we love him, and we have so much love for you. And we're going to work until we can put an end to genocide. Genocide ends today, yes. We love you. God bless. Until we meet again next week. Blessings.
Yes.
Thank you, Shalaya. God bless you.
Thank you.
And your family.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.